I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. You did that on purpose.
What?
On purpose.
A semicolon, right?
There is nothing.
Long pause?
There's nothing there.
Okay, gentlemen, we do have a quorum, so we'll proceed. Public comment?
No, thank you.
All right, thank you, Rob. All right, I wanted to deal with a couple of issues. Well, we'll wait on that till Augie had to run home to check on something. He'll be right back. Everything's running, so I guess we'll just start off with Andy then.
I contacted the guy about the elevator. The guy named Bo Bridgman, he does
Not Bo Bridges.
not Bo Bridges, and he didn't sound like Bo Bridges, but he does the work, and I anticipated hearing back from him this week, probably 2 weeks ago, I think, but haven't heard back from him. Other than that, nothing real big going on right now.
I did check with, just on building the, Rob met with Andrea out at the, did I say that right? Ross, or,
Our key guy.
yeah,
Yeah, okay.
out there at the dog.
I was stopped the other day, well, that's my report, but she wasn't there, I left a note. I said that if he doesn't show up to do the camera, then let me know, but I didn't hear back from her. so-
Right, and they both reached how they
Okay.
want to do that and approach.
Okay,
Also, as far as the ESDA Center, have we,
more,
I contact him again. I get tired of contacting people and contacting people.
call him
oh,
Joe.
can we get somebody else?
I suppose we can. I really, talking like that's a big metal door and
Yes,
it probably takes some of the metal off. I'm a little concerned about. But yeah, I'll see if I can
We just need
get
to
somebody else when you get it
Now, the
done.
phone system is working. In fact, it's got some new features and she's happy with the phone system.
So they're now having, because they've had trouble with that ever
Right.
since I've been on the board.
Right. So
So it's working now.
it is working, but I've been on Ross about getting out there to talk to her and make sure that, so he did an appraisal of some of the stuff and reviewed some of the stuff that was, to make sure it was working correctly in her
Yeah, she
office.
never got back to me, I stopped out the other day.
Well, I just wanna let you know I
Yeah,
checked
okay,
it,
thanks.
okay?
Okay,
So, I mean, we're trying to stay on top of that.
okay.
And of course, we talked about, and we're, hopefully, when you guys do your review and walk through in the jail, we take a look at that room where all of the,
Things are.
right, so that we
Server
can,
room.
right,
Never been in the jail.
Is
okay?
that scheduled or you're saying?
No, I said when you do
When
it,
it does
because you
happen.
were gonna do that. No, it is not scheduled, but it was just something that we need to keep on the list. What
We
Phil?
was talking about the jail.
We're just, I've never been in the jail. I'm afraid they'd keep me there. I don't wanna go in there.
Probably not.
But
Probably
If
not.
it is-
They'd send you straight to Terre Haute.
federal prison,
You get the padded cell, we'll put you in.
How is that, your stuff going in the jail that you were doing as far as
I've,
the room and all that?
I've got the quotes on the room. Still waiting for some more stuff on the padding stuff, but the one coming out of Indy just,
That's,
they're high, yeah. Maybe that's still the best you can get, but I'm trying to find some other alternatives. Then after I got the quotes for the way we wanted to do it, we kind of had some other ideas since then, so.
okay. All right.
Speaking of timely matters, the circus is in town, so you're just looking for diminutive construction, that may be the way to go.
Are you talking about only the insulation up there still?
No, they're honestly, I'd like to get the door fixed. It hangs up.
Okay.
Hangs up
Are those two, it's, that, I thought the insulation issue was actually on the front, like near the door, is that?
No, this is separate.
here. Ceiling.
Separate issue. But we need to get it, you're talking back at ESDA again?
Yeah, yeah, if he doesn't get back with me, I'll get somebody.
Part of the room, see, we bought all of the insulation, and we probably reviewed it, but there was an issue of space to get up there and do it.
It's bat?
Rolls, yeah.
So,
And it's tight up there.
Mhm.
They bought it, and then Bob said he put the insulation up there.
Which he wasn't.
Well, he
lying.
did.
He put it up there.
He put it up there.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it was,
He didn't roll it out. But I don't know.
This one part of the room feels really comfortable. The
Probably
rest
all
of
I
it,
did
not
was
so
just
much.
get it up there, couldn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah,
You need a small person to do that.
you need a small person.
You're a dishwasher.
We got
Not very
one.
big.
My dishwasher?
Yeah.
John can do it.
Oh,
He's
yeah,
a tall.
John's not very big either.
actually.
He's junkie size.
sorry,
I
John.
told Andy if he didn't get a hold of Mark, we can go down there and do that sometime, it's not gonna take long.
Well, at any rate, we keep,
And if he got a roll of insulation in there, I can squeeze in without taking metal off it.
Okay, we'll go in there.
Almost,
Sir.
let me know what's going on, I'll watch this.
Talk to you about.
I do get paid for attending a committee meeting on that, don't I?
they're still having another meeting.
We'll consider it.
What you need, Dan?
I just stopped out there and left a note for Andrew about the camera.
Okay.
And you said you talked to Ross about it.
Right.
Other than that.
That's it?
That's it.
Really?
You do have a building out back there on that Eads and Wood Street. Somebody's putting up something where they took down the,
Oh, the old
garage.
house?
Yeah, somebody's building something there on where the.
Maybe it'll do
concrete's
something
not
good.
in. Yeah. The old house is still there, but we don't have a choice with that, so.
Is that the one that faces Wood Street, that part that's what they were talking
Yeah.
about? That is pretty kind of pitiful.
Yeah, no, can't do anything.
Does somebody live there, or is it just,
They moved out of the house to the north, and somebody's working on it too, so I don't know who's doing the work, but somebody said Mandy Neal bought the lots, I don't know.
I don't know.
I heard, that's what I heard also.
Well, you guys go to the same place, that's why you heard.
You know, that could be, we're always in the same place.
Yeah. So, we need a second source. John, do you have anything? Bill?
Nope.
Derek?
Real short meeting, no, we have nothing.
Okay, let's go through the agenda briefly. You guys got the copy of the audit. Joe Doherty will be first on the agenda on Wednesday, so he will be there if you have any questions. He didn't see anything in there that was an issue. He did talk to a few department heads about a few things as far as receipts and, you know, just standard stuff, but we also were not doing a single audit anymore, starting next year, so we probably, like I said last meeting, it might be a good time to rebid, because it's been a couple of years on the audit, so.
You said we can spread it out, we have to do one every year?
No, we have to,
do one every year.
it's a very complicated audit. We don't have to do the complicated, because we haven't tripped, they've raised the ceiling from 500,000 to 750 on grants. So that saves us those technical aspects of the audit, which we no longer have to do, at least for the time being. Now, we may get some grants in eventually that'll trip us back up again, but at this point, we're okay.
Jeff, do you know when he does those, and he always has findings year to year, is there some reach back in those audits, and maybe I should have seen this already, where he said, you know, the issues from previous years are corrected? Do we have anything that?
They normally don't comment on that, but the way they do that is normally, if their findings weren't addressed, they readdress new findings. In other words, they say you're not doing something in year 14, and you didn't do anything, it'll appear again in 15. And
With
then-
that verbiage that
Right.
this was addressed and you didn't correct it?
No, it'll just say this is a finding,
Oh.
okay? And you can ask him about that.
Well, I mean, I guess.
Normally, what they do is just, they're not judging the board, they're simply reporting what they find.
Hate to be judged.
Well-
Well, what I'm saying is, so we're paying all this money, and obviously we're hitting a wicket, or we're hitting a wicket for grants or whatever, but it's also, you know, something that we can take and use, and so that, I think, would be beneficial, saying, hey, for the last 3 years, this hasn't been addressed, and so if we can cover ourselves, or maybe lead to improvements, you know, to the county in general, I mean, if we're.
Well- Pardon me.
Is that just a random sound, or were you?
No, I was just gonna ask, I assume the old audits are on file someplace, so it
Absolutely.
really wouldn't take much to
Now, you
to
did receive
compare
a
the
separate
comments.
administrative letter from them,
Mm-hmm,
saying what they recommend us do this year,
yep.
okay? So anything that would be a repeat from last year would be in
Is it
that.
mentioned in that?
Yes, okay? So, in a way they do it, but they don't go, geez, guys, we've mentioned this 3 years in a row, and
I've done
Why do you
nothing
suck
but
so bad? Yeah.
so, at any rate, Joe will be there. Additionally, a quarter of an hour, 15 minutes before the meeting, we're having a public hearing on the grant from the Department of Agriculture. We did have a little glitch where the state's attorney said that letter for his legal services applied to something else than what she had said it was for. It's for police cars with us. He's saying it's for a completely different set of circumstances. So Augie called her, emailed all of the concerns that the state's attorney had said, and we're trying to get that resolved. And is our grant writer gonna be there 15 minutes before the meeting? I don't know how to get a hold of him or anything.
I'll tell him to.
And then we have an item on the agenda to deal with that particular issue, which is, number 10, would be report on public hearing authorized, and then we execute the department, or the information for the sheriff's department vehicles.
Are these extra vehicles, or just trading in, or?
Well, these will be new vehicles we'll move in and
Get rid of a couple of
move a couple of them out.
couple of those old
Well,
Fords.
ones, yeah, one like your pickup is rusting too.
Yeah.
It's unique.
That's good.
But you know, that there wasn't no water in that thing this weekend.
Oh, okay.
How do you get rid of the old vehicles? I mean, do you trade in, or do we bid them out, or just, just curious?
Sealed bids mostly. I mean, sometimes they're, I know, I
See a
think,
few around town.
Yeah, no, you do see, and I don't know where they come from, so.
yeah, I mean, that's usually they're sealed bids.
Okay. No, it's pretty common, just didn't know.
Okay, another item that's on here that may have been some questions is the item number 13. And Don came and talked to us at the last meeting, and we asked him to go to the state's attorney. And the state's attorney is recommending that we act on this in a positive way because it benefits the interest of the county taxpayers in the taxing districts. Although it's not something we normally do, it's permissible, and other counties do it, and therefore there's nothing wrong with it.
We're gonna open the floodgates on that one,
Well, I mean,
possibly.
well,
Yeah,
it's not as,
Was this the one from California or something?
yes,
Washington State.
Washington State.
Okay, we're-
It's not
That's
a,
Gig Harbor.
it's not a question of that, it's basically what the state's attorney said was we hired Myers, Joseph P. Myers, to do this. We're gonna listen to it, or we're gonna void the contract and do something else.
Right.
And it's legal.
No, it should help us, right?
Actually, yeah, it helps them, it helps us, like you said, it helps everybody.
What's Don's,
And Doug's fine with it.
okay.
And Doug just brought it up because he
Is that an order?
Right, you're
is
right.
cautious, and he wants to make sure that we take a look at stuff like we did, instead of just charge in there. And what happened if the state's attorney came back and said, whoa, whoa?
Don't start
So,
that, but.
we've
okay.
done our due diligence, and there's no issue with it, okay?
It's all cut.
Well, I don't know whether it's tall cotton, I just live in the dream.
Well, generally, yeah.
Budget wise, I think we're with we have 2 payrolls left in the year, or in this month. We're, obviously this month is 50% of the year, and we'd be at 43.3% in expenditures, okay? So, it's not bad. I'll leave you guys to look at the departments. I just got this about an hour and a half ago, so I hadn't had a chance to look at it. But we're gonna look at that. You should know we've got a meeting, the Sheriff's Committee, Negotiating Committee has a meeting with the union. There is some grievances that we have to deal with, and we've skipped to what, step 3? So Andy, and in Carl's absence, Derek and I will be meeting with them after the meeting, approximately 10:30, to try to sort out what's happening. We don't have a lot of information.
But now let me get this straight though, we're having 2 meetings after the regular meeting. We're having one with the USDA grant people, right?
That's before.
That's
That's
before.
That's
before.
before.
That's 15 minutes before the
Okay.
meeting, Jeff, I'm sorry if I
Okay.
didn't clarify that. We decided to do that so we didn't have a bunch of meetings going on. I mean,
Well, I thought at that last meeting we were gonna have it after, so, okay.
we are
So we'll have
right
one
in the
before.
same place.
Okay.
They're all three right there, so we're good to go.
Okey dokey.
Everything was posted, and-
This one says 8:45,
yes,
so.
yeah,
15
8:45.
minutes before. He's right on that.
Specifically.
Specifically.
Don wanted me to let you know, he had something he had to attend to where he would have been here, that, it looks like we're gonna still squeak by without borrowing any money. So, who knows?
That's a good thing.
That's all set up in case we need to, like we've done every year. In the last few years, we haven't had to borrow much, if any, so we're good to go. I guess that's about it. Yes.
I know we can't go into much detail, what's the status on the Correctman building?
Thank you. The clock is ticking, the 30 days started like on the, what was last Saturday's date? The 29th? So you back off 7 days from that. 22nd, so roughly May 22nd or 23rd is the bid date.
So it's been publicized and out there and we're
Yes.
going, okay, good.
Yeah, it wasn't in last Saturday's paper, it was in the previous paper,
Okay.
okay? And I don't know, I can't speak for Augie, I don't know whether he's had any interest or anything else, so we're not sure where we sit on that.
Do you have any problem with me getting a hold of department heads that have stuff out there and saying, why don't we see what we can do to get rid of some of this?
No,
Probation, cause I talked to Bob about it, and he told me that there's a lot of probation papers there, and I said, okay, well, have you guys, anybody talked to probation? He said, it's my understanding, a lot of that can be, destroyed now. So that's something you've got to get on a list to have somebody okay that for you, and then you do it, so.
Right.
There's.
Hi.
Treasurer, go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't mean to, I haven't been in there, it sounds like there's a lot of old documents. And we need to have the departments, okay, what can be destroyed and what they need to keep.
That's what,
Would it be in our interest to have, document shredding come in and just toss all, cause there are services that come around and do that, would that be our best way to clean that
yeah,
mess out?
now the banks have come a couple times a year, and I think
Well,
probably the
They were
best.
there this morning shredding it today.
Yeah, they're there quite a lot.
Next, the thing I think probably, if you could schedule it where they could come in and do it at the same time that one's in town
When
doing
are you
something.
due on your next, they're probably scheduled, so
Yeah,
you could do it so they didn't have to make it
a
extra
separate
trip.
trip.
Right.
Yeah, we don't need to be cleaning out and find a whole bunch of documents that we hate to toss in the dumpster.
Right, no, a lot of that stuff you can't. I know, Dina got rid of a lot of hers, but I don't know that it was out there. Some of that stuff's Don's out there too. isn't it?
Right. I think Don's
There's some
there.
stuff's only been there since last year,
I know,
I think new stuff that.
there's quite a bit of new stuff.
Yeah.
I was kind of.
We saw it on the boxes,
Yeah, so
dates.
Well, regardless of that fact, we
we
need
need to move.
to be aggressive. Even if we weren't gonna, we need to get rid of stuff that needs to be gotten rid of.
Okay.
Well, there's a bunch
Well,
of.
computers, they take those apart and take, what, metal out of them or something? don't
Yeah, I
they?
was gonna ask, so is there a bunch of like CRT
Oh,
monitors and stuff out there
Yeah.
too?
They don't take
Load of
the
them.
old monitors. They'll take
Yeah.
flat screens. I don't know what you.
Who,
Do with the old
who's that?
monitor.
There's a company that disposes of or will take, you're talking about basically.
Computers, towers, and.
Do we have to worry about any old hard drives and what might be?
I think a lot of that stuff, from what I see out there, is actually left from Crackman. The computer stuff, didn't it appeared like a lot of that's Crackman stuff.
Voting
Couple.
machines, bunch of voting machines, or a box of them.
They're boxed, they're empty,
No, no,
so. When I think it's back,
yeah.
You could open the cases and just take a hammer to those hard drives, and that should be sufficient.
Yeah.
I don't think you're gonna have any kind of government secrets in there.
ask Hillary.
Yeah, so I mean, any of that stuff that we couldn't just throw in a dumpster, I'd be curious, like, are we
I wouldn't,
supposed to be able to do that with
Yeah,
monitors?
ain't room to drop off, I
you
think.
can recycle the monitor parts, you're not supposed to put in the dumpster either.
That's what I'm saying, like, if there's enough of them, we probably should look at what we need to do with
How
those.
to get rid of them, and they're the old big monitors.
Indiana
two,
State
like
does that
17.
with computers. I remember right.
What's that?
Indiana State, I think, recycles computers.
They do, he said,
Yes, and,
You should call Scotty and ask.
Scotty,
Yeah.
he said Scotty will take the computers. I
Yeah,
think.
I think if we
Right.
could probably, you know, we could have a yard sale, as a matter
Mhm.
of fact. Well, based on what's legal, I mean, we don't wanna. And remember, we do have a place out here that we
We can
can
put some
store
stuff.
our stuff.
I really kinda want to, there's some old office furniture in there that, it's, you know,
Old
of
there.
everything.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's like mismatched, it's banged up.
And a lot of it, you know, the chair breaks they rolled out there, I kinda wanna get away from, I wanna
Yeah, we
evaluate
need to
that
stop.
chair, fix
There's
it.
a slot machine out there too.
We need, remember, we were gonna have
We
a,
put those in effect. Sorry.
oh, you're
You
fine.
can sell
We
those.
were gonna have a staff meeting, Augie had to cancel it because of the election. But we need to have that, we can talk to them at that meeting.
And
And we need to get them into the fact, if they've got a piece of junk, don't take it out to storage or bring it here.
Right.
Get rid of it.
Right.
I mean, that
All
doesn't.
those old documents are in like box
Box,
box
right.
stuff, right?
Put dates on them and so forth.
Is that the plan if we move it out here, just to leave it boxed and just have a designated area to
I re-
just throw them in?
I suppose if there's a time frame thing, in other words, it takes 6 months to okay the destruction of these, we'll set them someplace,
Right.
say, here's what we want gone in 6 months.
Well, that's the stuff we're not
But if-
as worried about, we can keep out in the shed as opposed to
So what are
climate
they-
control, who cares?
One of these buildings out here in the store?
Yeah,
He's offered us
he's also.
space out here.
Some of the stuff
So we
though,
don't
if
have
we
to
may
move
have
it,
to
so-
reference, actually pull back for whatever reason, we wanna keep those probably climate controlled, so they're not.
And he,
Yeah.
Aaron showed us up above, he said you can put all kinds of stuff up above in that climate controlled place.
Right.
So,
It is gonna be climate controlled out there.
And just another thought here, as we
Climate
put
control.
whatever, wherever it is, climate control, those boxes we have held for so long, and to have a system as we start out for this, you know, and so we don't have to go back digging through or end up with way more old.
In other words, everything from
Yeah.
14 should be here,
Yeah.
15.
Yeah.
And they should be carefully marked and put in order. In other words, the oldest stuff should be where you can easily,
yeah,
yes,
Opportunity for spring.
yes.
And I'm
Anything
going to
else?
take a guess and say a lot of the documents have different time frames that they have to be held.
Right.
Which
right.
makes it a nightmare
But
for
if
us.
the boxes are clearly marked and
They are marked pretty
categorized,
well.
Yeah.
it would be a lot easier, as Derek
Sure.
says. Anything else, gentlemen?
What about,
Don't you have signed that?
All right, motion to adjourn.
Signatures on that.
So moved.
Aren't you on
Second.
the bridge? Aren't you on the
Seconded.
bridge?
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay.
Jeff,
Yes.
how many people